Here we are, 2023, and we have to celebrate when we see someone buying land. During the 1800s, we owned more land than we do today. That's scary because you're like, what? We weren't renting, we were buying land. If we were renting, we were renting to buy. We built a lot of our homes from the ground up by hand. In the South, grew up, made our own gardens and farmed. We were living off the land. Wasn't a Walmart. Someone in town had all this food and stuff in mason jars. Save it and store it. We knew things about shelf life, on how long food would last before it spoiled. So we had to be intelligent to survive. Something that's not a present gift to us right now. Now, when I told y'all on the Patreon, because I didn't share this to the whole world, I shared it to my Patreons first. When I went and posted and spoke about a black man who gifted and blessed his 13-year-old son with 40 acres of land, a real estate, of course he's African American, but they out there near San Diego. Fahim Muhammad donated 40 acres of land to his 13-year-old son on his birthday and wants to teach him the importance of land ownership and generational wealth. That's what he wanted to gift his son. And I said, that's remarkable. Now, this is a 35-year-old man. And the land is in Boulevard, California, right on the U.S.-Mexico border. And that was a rite of passage for him. He said, after slavery, we supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. Right? That was the Union, General William Sherman Special Field Order number 15. Right? At the Civil War in 1865. All the newly freed slaves were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. But it never came to fruition. We're not crying about that fact, but somebody didn't give us what they promised. If this is something that we deserve to have, we gonna make it happen. You see? He didn't say, let me sit around and wait for reparations. He didn't say, let me sit around and wait for the world to feel sorry for me and give me something that they owe. I gotta go make it happen. So all you see is a flourishing pond, a lake that gives away life, meaning fish, food. You got trees, you got mountains, and he owned that. His sons own it at 13. And he wanted to break that stereotype that we have to live in neighborhoods. He said, you look at all the other real estate owners and investments and homeowners, they don't all live in neighborhoods. Most of them live on their land that they own, that sits apart. Most of them live in the forest or the woods that sits apart. Might be maybe 2, 3 people nearby. But they're normally miles, probably somebody might be a mile down the road. Now, Fahid Muhammad, he actually used to do security work. And this is how I heard of him. Because they did an interview with him back when Michael Jackson had passed away. He was one of Michael Jackson's former head of security. And that's how I remember him. And he was at a business conference. And he was always about real estate and business. So him and his other partner, he became what they call the chief information officer at the Oasis Investment Group. That's a real estate development company that he helped co-found. And they remember them. They went and got all these low housing incomes and brought them up. And he got 198 acres of land he bought back in 2021. So he took 40 acres of the land that he already owned 198 acres of and gifted it to his son and want to see what he does with this land. He's now the owner of it. Legally, he's a landowner. Now, again, like I said, the reason why I know him is because I go to these events that they have here at the Stevenson Center where they have some of the guest speakers and they have a lot of people who do investments. So most of the Oasis investments are majority African American neighborhoods, like in Chicago, period. They come and refurbish homes and fix them up and help the homeowners buy land. And they buy a lot of homes out here and renovate them. So he owns a lot of houses here in Chicago with the Oasis project. And he actually comes to Chicago a lot. And a lot of people see him and don't know that this man is very intelligent. And actually, he wasn't defined by his station in life and saying, oh, you're just going to be a security guy for the rest of your life. No, he went to school. He learned. He put the work in. He didn't wait for somebody to come and start waving a handout. That's not what you do. You got to get both feet down on the ground and actually compete. So while you have clowns out here like Gilbert Arenas or all these other people like Gummy and Uncle Crack and all of these people who want to live off of being a parasite, trying to suck off somebody else's energy, what do you have here? You have a situation in which Most people don't even understand, don't know how, can't fathom why things don't work out for them. They just don't get it. They don't. So when they came to Chicago to do these meetings, I sat there and I talked to Fahim Muhammad for about 10 minutes. When the Oasis group got up and they spoke about the project that they were going to do, because at the time they hadn't done it yet. And African Americans was pushed out a lot of their neighborhoods in a lot of these cities due to the rise in prices. You've seen it happen when they built the Barclays Center down in Brooklyn. Jay-Z helped them gentrify. The Russians come over there and gentrify that area. The concept was to come home and make the place nice again. That was the Oasis project was about. That was what he said. He said that was the concept. We want to come in and make them nice places to live, but make them nicer places to live for the people that already live there. We're not trying to drive them out. That's what they want to do. They want to be able to stay profitable and help black communities by working with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commissions to acquire what they call this is what's by title, it's called Regulation A Tier 2 Real Estate Fund. And that fund allows them to raise the capital to buy the land and renovate homes while making a priority to keep the African Americans in their areas that they grew up in. So you can't gentrify them out. You see, that's what that's what people don't realize. They have helped gentrify and build and raise money and knew how to go about raising the money so that they can partner with certain groups like the Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. So they offer classes to educate all the homeowners on how to actually own a home. You see, that's one thing that a lot of people had to learn by trial of fire because they're not used to owning a home. There's a lot of things you have to learn about owning a home. How to take care of the house. Certain things you can't neglect that the landlord ain't gonna do, you're gonna have to do now. Now they have also what they call a bill program. And what the bill program does with the Oasis is they actually teach people how to renovate your own property so that you could become homeowners yourself. So Diddy actually did the same thing to his son, or when he saw it, and he went and retweeted it on his Instagram and said he want to do something like that with his children and give them some land. Now, he's going to give him some examples on how to build on that property, but he wants to see what kind of creative ideas he have for his new land. And he says there's so many options you could do. You know, you just have to, listen to what he has to say, but he wants to see how his son thinks. So right away, his son's coming up with ideas of what he want to do. And it's fascinating because now he gets to hear his son come up with ideas that he didn't even think of. And they're good ideas. And let's not forget, a lot of us seem to make these unrealistic projections about our beliefs or our perceptions of reality. Like, we don't sit there and take for granted, well, we do take for granted. We think if somebody is working with us, oh, the white man got to be partnered, or no, that the white man, the white man, the white man. You know, he had to partner with the white man. No, his partner is a black man named Michael Amir. Him and Fahim became founders of Oasis. So it's two. Now, when they were working for Michael Jackson doing that security, as I told you, Amir was Michael Jackson's chief of staff, and Fahim was the head of security. So they went and launched into their own business 3 years later after their job was no longer around, when Michael Jackson was no longer here. Now their portfolio in real estate has increased. It went from 40K to 10 million. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, put them on the path. And look where they are today. You see? See, Michael Amir grew up in a black neighborhood, but he went to school in a predominantly white high school. And he noticed the difference between white and black neighborhoods. The same thing with myself. I come from the Robert Taylor homes, 4101 South Federal. You ain't gonna get no more Chicago than that. I went to Hardican. I moved more out south. Lived in Hyde Park. I lived in every neighborhood there was. People remember that, right? But when I came to the suburbs, I was already out of high school. But I remember the differences, as we had friends that was still finishing up, getting ready to graduate from high school. We saw exactly what lied before them. How easy they had it. They had recreational centers. They had everything. I'm like, wow. This is like a school after school? like what is this? They had economics classes in high school. They had all of these things. Every corner is a activity, recreational, learning place of fun. They had arcade centers where you could just go in and play games. They had a nickel arcade where you just come in, get a bag of nickels, and play all the old video games. You know what this is? A recreational meeting ground. When you meet people, it takes away the uncomfortableness of meeting people that's not from your neighborhood, like we used to do. That's how we met friends. We normally met them in a common ground and became friends with them. You didn't just go to someone's neighborhood and became friends with them. You normally met them in a common area, the mall, the school, a recreational place where you guys would meet up and become friends, where you guys could come from other neighborhoods. The part that's tragic is that we become products of what the neighborhood has become of us or made us into. You know, you got people say, yo, I'm a BD, because my cousin BD. My block is BD, so I'm BD. They haven't been to a BD meeting. There haven't been a BD discussion. BD ain't gonna bury you. And I'm just using generalities. You know, they're not gonna take care of your family when you're gone. You have no insurances of any of this, no matter what gang you is. Don't have to be BD. For any BDs out there, it's not disrespect to you. Just saying in general. Our neighborhood, each block had a different gang. We had GDs, Four Corner Disciples, Vice Lords, Blackstones. Everything was in one neighborhood. So what's going to happen to the neighborhood? It'll become a war zone if people didn't learn how to live together. Now, if they could do that and live together back then, why they can't figure out a way to live together now? We're under a warped sense of security right now. A lot of people are suffering. Nothing's going to get better unless you make the attempt to make it better. Now, repeat. Nothing's going to get better until you make the attempt to try to make it better. That's it. That's the key ingredient. So I want to try to make my neighborhoods better. I want to try to make these neighborhoods better. I want to create avenues where people that look like me and came up the way I came up don't have to fall into those pit holes. You know, I had a strong grandmother, grandfather, mother. I had a whole village to help me. A lot of people don't have that. That don't put me ahead of them. That don't make me stick my head up and say I'm better than them. No, I could have been them easily. If I didn't have the support structure in my home, I would have been a product of the street just like every last one of them. But my household didn't play that. A lot of people are not blessed with that. Same person who I went to school with, lived in the same neighborhood, the parents is pushing him to sell drugs at 12 and 13 years old. That it's time for him to start earning some money. So they want him to push drugs. Because you got a brother and sister who was left their mother's house and both of them were drug addicts. And that was her child, and the uncle is like, yo, you got to sell some work. Go work for him so you can distribute drugs to us and go out on the streets and sell them, but we get a free cut. So now we ain't got to pay for drugs and hustle to try to do that. And so 13, he had to become the breadwinner of the household and provide drugs for his mother and uncle. Can you imagine what that does to a child at 12 and 13 years of age? Imagine, right? Now that we know all of this, what are we prepared to do? Get in the game. That's what you have to do. The same thing when they say with working out and doing all this, you have to get involved. Because if you don't get involved, they don't care. They don't want you involved. They want you sleep. They want you not paying attention. But see, here's what's the problem in society right now that's happening. There's a tectonic shift because most of these children who have been pampered and spoiled and came up with all these things, they don't want all this. They want to be lazy forever. They have no ambition. The parents thought by providing everything for the child that the child would want to contain and just want to be more like them. And all they did was create spoiled brats. Spoiled brats who really don't know how to keep anything, how to run anything. It was just all given to them. Most of these kids that go to class, they don't even learn anything in class. They're just going to school and they just getting pushed along. So it's not even a color thing. They're doing that even out here in the rich areas. So all they know how to solve their problems is to pay money to push it off to somebody else. And these teachers are passing them along. Just giving them a passing grade because they gotta have their graduation rate up. So they would take a student that really should be demoted and keep them in higher prestige. I feel very good where I am right now in my position. And this is where I want to be. And being able to help people have been great. There's some people that have gotten a lot of information from me and have went on way further and said, man, you got me started doing this, and now me and my wife, we finna start this business together and do this. I love to hear those type of statements and comments. Like, I read them, I just don't get a chance to respond to all of them because I'm, doing this and busy. So those make me feel good, man, and I really appreciate hearing stuff like that. So on that note, I say take care. God bless. Don't forget to follow Kwame Brown Bus Life and about Angela Stanton King, her page. Support Angie's House. You got the information on her page. Welcome to HD with the Two Eyes TV. Boxing and basketball. Dreamers Pro. Um, Man, it's a lot. Seahawks, Jose Rodriguez. And we'll just leave it right there for now. Don't forget to support here. My Cash App is Carceno, Karceno, and I am out the